What I do is create Southern mythologies about specifically Black women and girls. So I'm interested in that practice of ritual and memory and engaging in a way that Black women and girls can see themselves as divine. And I do that in places of play, because play hasn't always been afforded to persons of color. I am sometimes pulling from mythology, like kind of old world mythology, be it Norse or African folklore, folk tales, stories that I was told growing up. I look at it as a way of reimagining as well. So I grew up with the never-ending story. I grew up with the Wizard of Oz. The closest thing that I can think of as a fairy tale or a myth that reflected me was the Wiz. And so I'm like, what is the extension of that? I'm looking for ways to reflect those kind of large scale storytelling images into what I believe is a Southern, very femme Black scape. I am using the richest pink pig that I used to ride as a kid. That's in my work. I am seeing the Waffle House as a kind of mythology. I see old school Cadillacs and cars as a form of a chariot, right? And so it's not difficult because there is something very mythical about being from the South anyway. Very rarely do we talk about the South outside of narratives of slavery, or these kind of tropes of what the South represents, which is always this kind of agricultural field landscape. And the stories that I feel like we receive most about Black culture always happen outside this space. It happens outside the South. My site-specific area just happens to be the South, which I want to be queen of the South and talk about how wonderful it is to be where I'm from. I'm also interested in going back to a time when women were considered divine. Divinity is about elegance as well as strength, and beauty as well as the grotesque. And it's big and it's massive and it's a womb and you're housed in it. And so I am womb making. And I want people to be in that space and moving with me in my womb. I see it as a way that all women kind of participate in this nesting and this homemaking. My palette is normally bold colors. Reds, yellows, blues, greens, I want pop and I want vibrancy. I want you to feel something when you're coming into the room. Be that joy and play, but also know that I'm also talking about sometimes very difficult subject matter. You don't necessarily get knocked over the head with that, right? It's in the background, it's aerosol. It looks like joy. I want to seduce you with something playful and familiar, and then kind of also knock you over the head with the unimaginable.